The huge success of Critical Role and Dimension 20 have one actual play star scared for the future of the entire genre.
Good lordy, I'm starting to worry.
Before we dive into what one Dimension 20 star has to say about the future of Critical Role and actual play in general, we'd ask you to take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help these videos cut through all that AI slop that's taking over YouTube. And then, let's talk the future of actual play. Critical Role, Dimension 20, Legends of Avantris, Viva La Dirt League. These are just some of the massive actual plays that have risen to new heights since Critical Role's first campaign sort of kicked off the golden age of actual play over 10 years back. But now, one actual play star is worried that that very success could lead to the ruin of the entire genre. So let's look at what Dimension 20 star Jacob Wysocki had to say, and why he's so nervous for the future of actual plays. Popverse sat down with Wysocki and fellow castmate Oscar Montoya from the new season of Gladlands on Dimension 20, both of which we've had the pleasure of interviewing on this channel just a few weeks ago, link in the description to that incredibly fun video. And they were asked about their thoughts on the future of actual plays, which led to Wysocki revealing his concerns, saying, "Oh goodness, when I hear questions like that, I get scared. Because unfortunately, the next step tends to lean into more money, more corporatization. Then I Show Speed is playing Dimension 20 with Kai Cenat, with Oscar Montoya then chipping in that the game would be DM'd by Mr. Beast." Wysocki continued that it's cool for something to have that wide of an appeal, but it's also scary when it's big enough that Tostinos has to be represented, and we can't say X, Y, or Z because the sponsor of Tostinos would get upset. All of that is kind of bad and scary when I think about it getting really big and really commercial. Wysocki also went on to talk about how he sees the live streaming of actual plays expanding as more and more people want to capitalize off the success of the genre, and he's clearly worried that as popularity builds, there will be less and less space in the genre for the people who helped create it as companies seek to expand audiences with stunt casting big names like the aforementioned Mr. Beast and Kai Cenat, or crack down on what they're allowed to say, driving away even more of the original creators and original fans of the space. So far, Critical Role and Dimension 20 have done an amazing job of remaining creator-controlled and creator-owned, but we've already heard from Critical Role executive staff that outside investments from hedge funds or other entities are something that would be considered as the company looks to keep growing. And new ownership partners could be exactly the kind of influence that pushes these sort of stunt castings or content restrictions Wysocki is so afraid of. So it's not like his fears are totally unfounded. Still, Critical Role has been very careful with the sponsors they've brought on, as you can imagine by the incredible amount of freedom that Sam is given with his ad reads every week, and Dimension 20 doesn't have sponsors at all, relying entirely on Dropout, both of which you can chalk up to the incredible leadership at those two companies. But with actual plays growing more and more popular, and a potential changing of the guard as the original wave of these Critical Role era stars begin to look to pass the torch to that next generation, potentially being the perfect time to pull off some of these radical cast changes and new content restrictions that Wysocki is concerned about, it's definitely something we will need to keep our eye on in the next few years. As a Critical Role with new restrictions and without the freedom to say whatever they want and tell the stories exactly the way they want to tell them, would be a sad, sad sight indeed. So what do you think? Is there a world where the creators of the actual plays you love are forced out of their own shows as the genre gets more and more corporate? Let us know what you think down in the comment section, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.